It is your host Ifai Akaraga, and we are still on the series Truth and Life with Dr. Elvis Chinwe from King's Life Connect. All right, sir. Like you all know, we'll be treating a lot of issues. We're not talking about truth and life. What should be as what should be realistically. Avoidance of whatever people may think. And that this serious issue we want to look at today, sir, it has to do with religion. Religion from the inception, from what we are told or what I learned as a boy growing up, that religion came, mostly Christianity and all the rest, came for the betterment of the African society. When we mean African society, you know what I mean? It's not about the structure alone, but individual, the betterment of my life and for the betterment. So, but from what we are seeing currently in society, the reverse is not the case. Religion now serves as a source of deceit, bringing impediment to the development of Africa as an individual. For example, you see like a church or mosque where you see from Monday to Saturday with large numbers of people. I'm not saying they shouldn't serve God. I know, but I know God. The Bible said that wisdom is profitable to direct. You see, some of our people, they are not going to work. They're not doing anything every day. Morning and night, they're in the church.
Okay.
A lot. I don't know how you see it. I mean, is it what is the truth behind this issue?
It's a very the last time I talked about religion like this, somebody had to comment on my Facebook account, to tell me that, Pastor, you're about to break a table that's already shaky. So, but when you look at religion, when it comes to Africa, Nigeria, where we stay, and the world at large, it's a topic that calls people's attention. Once you talk about religion, people are drawn to the idea of religion. And you can either make friends or enemies depending on what you say when it has to do with religion. It is that bad. But religion on its own is not bad, because in the first place, what is religion? Religion is simply a belief or worship of a deity. Okay? So if we look at religion from the definition, there is nothing wrong with religion, because everybody believes that there is God. Even the priest, the juju priests, they all believe that there is God. Even the Bible said that if you say you believe there is God, even the devil believes. The devil also believes there is God. So every human being is a religious human being, just like you say man is a political animal. Every man is a religious animal. So when you look at religion, it's dicey because it depends on the area you touch. Now you're talking about the church. Okay? When it comes to religion, it is not a force for evil. It's a force for truth. And that truth, depending on how it is used, can transform a person first, and then a nation second. If you look at great countries of the world today, at their inception, they didn't have the organization and the structure they have today. Most of the structure you see in great countries are structure that were built in by religion. Check for instance the Great Britain. You find out that if you look at their system of rule, when they started from the monarchy, you will discover that in Great Britain, enshrined in the monarchy is religion. When they will want to crown a new king or a new queen, rather, they will use the Bible. They would use the church as a means to propagate that crowning, and they recognize God in
there is this link between the government and the church.
Exactly. Which means that the idea of God and believing Him, which gives birth to religion, is not a bad idea. But the problem with the religion today is when human beings begin to propagate personal interest. All right?
So other than
the truth.
Motive, the truth behind
exactly. It. But if we allow religion to propagate the truth it was intended to propagate, then it can be a force for change. So now you find Jesus in the Bible. When he said the Pharisees, they have made the word of God of none effect by their traditions. When I read that, the first time I read that, I was a bit confused until I started reading backwards. Because sometimes when you read the Bible, don't just pick a verse and read. sometimes read the whole verse in context. So when I started reading backwards, I discovered that there was a commandment in the Old Testament that God gave through his servant Moses. And that commandment has to do with children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and thy mother, for this is the first commandment with promise that your days might be long. That was a commandment. Obey, honor. All right. Now, honor means to take care. Honor means to reverence your parents. But now, in their time, the Pharisees twisted that scripture because they wanted to gain something from the Jews. So Jesus said, you've heard the law of Moses that says you should honor your parents. But you, in your time, has twisted it. And you tell the people that if that thing that is supposed to belong to your parents, okay, you've given it to God, you can go ahead and tell your parents that that thing that I'm supposed to give to you, I've given it to God. I owe you no obligation because God took what I'm supposed to give to you. Now, say, in that way, who owns the synagogue? The Pharisees and the high priests. Now, if they succeed in telling people, don't give your parents, bring to the synagogue, who did they bring it to? The Pharisees and the high priest. So you see personal interest. Whenever religion begins to get an undertone of personal interest, it begins to destroy people.
So in essence, you're saying that it's our religious leaders that are the problem. Because
no, the interpretation. I don't want to attach a human being to it.
Oh, okay, fine. If you go by that, but I want to like for what you said, what the Pharisees did, what they did.
Yes.
Do you understand me? They twisted it. Our religious leaders are no longer preaching the truth. They now twist the Bible to suit.
Because of personal interest, it begins to get a different interpretation because of personal interest.
Okay, now you also said something that's going to the onset of introduction of religion to Africa. You know, it led to so many advancements, development, abolition of some things that are not meant to be, like the issue of twin before that is, you know, there are societies that don't accept twin and all those kind of things. So religion brought transformation. All right, but owing to what we have today in the society, don't you think that our churches have deviated from that? Because what impact has religion made, or what impact are they making in society today? We have a lot of people, what they end up is building cathedral, doing this and that. Okay, fine. For instance, in our society now, we have a very extreme high cost of living in Nigeria, for instance. High cost of living. People who are even church members cannot even afford their children education. Even our religious leaders, some churches have schools. And when you look at the what they call it, the price of school fees, when you look at those schools, some of those schools even the members of the church cannot even afford those schools. That's one. These are the churches. Now, how many free churches and schools as we ought to expect that the churches, that what happened before, they're no longer giving anything to society. Instead, they are collecting from the individuals, the poor masses, in the name of religion, in the name of God said this, God said that. Do you understand? We all understand the Bible, we know what God said, but the point is, I don't know how you see that. And what are they really doing that as it was done before by developing the country, or they have deviated? Because there's a lot of, to me, there's a division. There is a great division for what the religious leaders are doing now.
I think the first thing we need to know about religion is that when the first time religion was ever used, it was used to build structures and to establish principles. All right. Yes. So religion, first of all, targets the character. You know, when people say Christianity is not a religion, Christianity is not a religion. It's a life of the spirit. It's a life of the spirit. Now you talk about spirit. When you talk about spirit, you're talking about God. In the real sense, there's a difference between tradition and religion. Tradition is a way of life. Okay? How people behave in a particular place. Religion itself is a belief and a worship. Now, when you say you worship, it means you fear and reverence that thing you worship. And that thing is able to dictate how you live, what you see as true or false. Now, our religious leaders, as we call them, you talked about having schools. Okay? The major problem is that if you teach what has not transformed you, you will begin to leave question marks about your real intention. The first thing is that the thing you teach must first of all transform you. And that's why the Bible will say that, O Theophilus, I commend you to all that Jesus began both to do first and to teach. So you must first practice the things that you want to teach. Now, you look at our religious leaders who build schools that people cannot go to. And then you ask yourself, in the first place, why did you have a calling? Oh, some people may say, oh, we have different reasons why we do ministry. But the first thing in ministry was given to you to serve humanity with your gift.
So it's wrong to build school.
Now wait,
So they have a structure that people can.
Exactly. Your gift includes whatever God gives to you, whatever God blesses you with is your gift, whether it is natural or acquired. That is your gift. Now, acquired in the times of school. The schools of ministry is supposed to serve the interests of the public. Now, in two ways. I cannot sit here and say someone who owns a school should not allow people to pay fees. I can't sit here and condemn that. That could be a business. But my major point is this. Do not attach schools run for personal business to ministry interest.
Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know how you see it. To me, a school that bears the name of a church or mosque is the same thing as a church or mosque. Do you understand me? Now, for instance, I don't want to mention. You know what I mean? Now, schools, so it's not separate business from this thing. That's where I'm coming from. I'm not talking about the one people built out of their this. Those churches, those schools that were built by church and for the church.
Now, in the first place, look at Nigeria. How did they register most of our religious organizations? As non-governmental organization, NGOs. And because they're NGOs, they don't pay tax.
Good. That is even. I want to come in. Sorry, sir. I want to come in now. That is even where, for me, currently in our government want to start taxing the church, and I approve that. I'm in support of that because the church is not contributing to the society.
If they have to tax the church, no, I can't say totally the church does not contribute to society because if we say it, we are generalizing it.
Okay, fine. Let me say to a quarter or a point.
To the extent it was supposed to contribute.
Yes. Like now, for instance, now, let's look at the moment we're into. This is the moment we expect the church to come in. This is a very tough time in the history of a country like ours, Nigeria. Do you understand? In a time like this, what should be the role of the church?
Okay.
In a time like this.
Okay. Now, this is
not just about the school. I'm not talking about the school, not just about the school. Even in the well-being, some people cannot afford 1 square meal. But you have churches who every now and then you go to their asking members from one contribution, one sowing of seeds, one this, one that, from the little you have, making you feel as if you don't have faith in God or putting you in the position as if you're arguing God's existence in your life.
It is all about priority. All right, what the church places as their priority. See, I'm a pastor, okay, and the priority of every church should be souls. When I mean souls, I mean the life of people. Let's not use the ambiguous word souls. Let's use it, the human life, whether spiritual life or physical life. That's the priority of the church. Okay, now remember when Jesus spoke to Peter after he had resurrected and Peter went to fish. He saw him. Peter, lovest me more than this? He says, yes, master, you know I love you. He said, but if you love me, feed my sheep. Again, if you love me, tend for my sheep. That word is a big word that encapsulates a lot of things. To feed means to give spiritual food, and to feed also, as Christ told us, means to also give physical food. It depends on the priority of the church. If the priority of the church is human souls, okay, they will want to do everything they can to keep the body alive first before they can touch the spirit. Because a man who is dead cannot receive impact. It is wrong in any way to run ministry without looking at lives. And no, don't just me, because I think the focus now is more on spiritual life. Pray, build a spiritual life. But see, life is not all about spiritual life. Spiritual life is a percentage of what life is. 50% of what life is all about. Okay? If I feed your spiritual life, it can only be relevant spiritually. But if you are dead in your body today, your spirit has nothing to do in this life, including impact or being able to listen to me, just as anybody is listening to me right now. You need to be alive first physically before you can receive anything spiritually. So they have their priorities wrong. The Church of the Acts of the Apostles was all about helping. They were giving to the necessary. The Bible says nobody owned anything, but they shared everything in common. Showing love. Everything that comes into the church, they used it to show love, apart from when you have staff or everything. But the problem with our ministries today is that we have choked ourselves with so much activity.
Irrelevant activities.
There are so many activities that have even come ahead of lives.
They're not supposed to even be part of
exactly. Which only does interest to the ministry. The ministry is not you now. Most churches don't see the ministry as you. They see the ministry as the organization. So everything they do, yes, is in the interest of the organization. And that is opposed to the Spirit of God. That's not how the Spirit of God wants things to be done. It should be followed according to Scripture. The ministry is not the organizational structure of the building. The ministry are the lives.
Okay. So going on, will you say that the church, or what will be your scorecard given to the church as in a time like this in Nigeria? Have the church, will you say they have failed, or they are trying, or because I believe the religious organizations ought to do better. I don't know. I'm not saying in a time like this, like looking at, I'm just take Nigeria condition as a country.
Just like you said, we need to do more. I don't want to sit here and say we are failed, because I know there are still genuine people that are doing this. But let's say I know in Nigeria we have more than 1 million churches. The reason why God committed a lot of finance into the hand of the church. The church is blessed for a reason. The reason why the church was blessed is because of the people God is going to be sending to her. That was why the church was blessed. So I wouldn't want to sit here and say the church is not done, but from what we have seen so far, we need to do more. The government of this nation should be at the mercy of the church. I know I'm saying this today, because when we talk about the nation, we are not just talking about individuals alone or helping. We are also talking about government systems and structures. Okay? If the church would sit up to do what they are supposed to do, this protest running on the streets today, we are not supposed to be having it.
Beautiful. That is exactly.
But because we missed it at a point, and it has gotten so bad, where there is no difference between the world, the government system, and the church. The government can use the church for their own agenda, and the church can use the government for their own agenda. And so whenever the government makes certain statements or does certain things that are wrong, the church cannot oppose them. Because at one point, they had benefited from the government. That is the major issue. But if the church can stand as an institution, devoid of so many of these governmental systems, God has blessed us with enough to manage this country. But we are really focused on the organization than on the people.
I don't know. The thing is this: the church have, to me, I believe they have misplaced their priority. Do you understand? From what you said, religion is talking about worship, but now it's more of material accumulation, material thing, the structure. You see someone dying in the church cannot even care.
That's what I was going to tell you, that the activities in the church have now most of the time taken over
the priority.
Exactly.
And so those activities, it shouldn't be an institution. It shouldn't be part of the church.
It is simple.
There should be a single goal for the church, to me, because the goals now are many, which so many of those goals, like you said, are Nothing to write home about. They're not part of the mission. So, well, Israel is
The single goal of a church is supposed to be souls, 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 lives, 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 humans, humans, humans. We were even told in John 3:16 that for God to love the world that He gave. You see, the whole intention was for souls, 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 human life. The church should prioritize human life because that's the reason why Jesus came to die. Human life, and which includes the physical, taking care of the physical aspect of a human being.
okay. Going on. Okay, fine. I now have to move on because our time is actually clocking. I want to look at another area. Something happened recently. It's still going on. You know, there is popular music that is trending. Something, boom, 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 boom. You know, and to my utmost surprise, I was surprised when I was watching some videos on social media, some of the ministries I used to follow, and I see it to be a part of choir administration, where boom, 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 they were using it to sing. So, what do you have to say? Are there some kind of music that is supposed to be played in the church or be used as a ministry? I mean, is it right to convert a secular song? I don't, the song itself, from what I know the meaning of that song. It's not actually a bad song. It's a story about animal. You know, I understand this, but you know, so is it? I mean, how do you see that? I don't know. To me, I want you to throw lights on the kind of songs. And then, secondly, when I also ask, is it right for a Christian to listen some kind of song? But let's look at this go 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 go, bringing those kind of songs, using it to be church administration and all the rest. What do you have?
Okay, we have graded music. Okay, secularly, church music, and then maybe when you come on that secular, you have reggae, you have blues, you have different kinds of songs. Of course, of course. It is not. You know, music came from the root word to muse. To muse. Yeah, and it was used to make people feel happy. Okay. Now, happiness is as a result of the information you are receiving at the time. If I come to you now and just told you, sorry, God forbid, you lost your brother. If you were smiling here and happy, the moment you heard that, you will lose your happiness immediately. Why? An information has been given to you that changed everything. That is happiness. Now, the essence of music is the passage of information. So the problem is not who sang, but what is being said. Are there good informations that are being passed from that music to you? Okay. Now you can tell that depending on the kind of information you receive, you can either be said to be corrupt, vulgar, or to be good. Music can change nations depending on the information that is being passed. Okay, for instance, I used to listen to a song that used to say I'm a common person, but my happiness is still my own. Everybody has a role. You know, when I listened to the lyrics of that song, I didn't care too much who sang it. It was not about who sang it, but it was about what is being said. As Christians, the things we listen to, are they edifying? To edify means, does it build you up? Not just in spirit, but in understanding, in knowledge. Okay? I listen to a lot of reggae as well. When I listen to what is being said, you find that national development, character, so many things are passed through those songs that can help you. But there are also songs that when you listen to them, instead of becoming more intelligent, you become daft. Okay? They fill your mind with the things you don't want to just think about. And such music can make you lose focus. Okay, just I sat down and started, baby, remove your clothes, and things like that. And it doesn't make any sense. So why are you listening to it? Yeah, when you climb the ladder of intelligence, there are certain things that becomes poison to your mind space. They become poison. You don't want to let those things into your head because at the state where you are, you always want to keep an open mind and focus so that you'll be able to produce ideas. What we get into us are the ideas and the creativity that you talk about. There are certain things you listen to, you become more creative. There are certain things you begin to listen to, you lose your creativity instantly. So you want to be creative, you stay around what makes you more creative. And those things have to do with information. And that's where music comes in. Now imagine putting music that talks about sex. violence into your mind. Gradually, it's only a matter of time. No matter how you think you are strong, it will begin to build something in your mind, and you begin to create pictures.
So in essence, are we saying that a secular song can be converted and be used for in a church ministry? And
You call it secular. Why? Maybe probably because who sang it?
no. What I mean, when you mean secular song, I'm not talking about India. I'm not going to the artist. Like you said, the content of "Baby I Love You," the content, yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. No, what I mean is, they're not singing "Baby I Love You" in the church. They convert the musical structure of that with another lyrics, Christian lyrics, and dance as it is, as this original, that as it's being danced, the original song is being danced, everything they now use that like that go, the step like
who makes a man the judge of another man? The major thing is, does God accept it? Okay. I've told you what is being said. You are using it in church to worship God. How do you know you're worshiping God? When you are consciously releasing words that adore Him.
Okay, so it doesn't matter the platform, the background of the song.
The tune you're playing in, it is what is being said. Are you glorifying God? What is being said, does it connect with the intentions of your heart? I could take a tune from a worldly song and then play it and then begin to give God glory with words that adore Him from a sincere heart and a conscience, a clear conscience. That will be accepted by God. It is not the tune, but what is being said. When you pray, what is it about? Is it about kneeling down? It's not about kneeling down. It's about what you are saying, right? You can, I swear, go into a room, kneel down and say rubbish. That alone makes it void. It's no more prayer.
All right.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful one. You've heard from Dr. Pastor Elvis on the issues that bothers us in the society. So this is a very serious topic, truth and life. More is coming your way. Get ready for the next episode. Next week, we'll be feeding you a lot of issues. Some of you that have issues, there's a question that is bothering you, a matter that you want us to treat. You can send in your text messages, drop, go to our handle, our social media handles, drop your questions. We'll look at it. We'll treat it live. Share the video, let it get across while we do this to better the society and have a better image in our life. All right. Thank you again, Dr. Pastor Elvis.